if you look at trends, like remember when Minecraft rose to power and then everyone was like, this is it. Games are going to be like this. Like this is going to be this red Roblox and Trove and all these games came out like 4 years later and it was too late. And then it was Destiny. Every game's going to be a looter shooter, like Borderlands and Destiny are going to
Mhm.
rule everything. And I mean, the three of us were bought into that mindset at one point, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the looter shooters came out and we were like, well, this is not what, no, this is not the future. And then it was
Uh-huh.
BRs.
Uh
It's
huh.
chasing the trend, constantly chasing the
Right.
trend.
And the trend, it has a crest. It peaks and it comes back down. That doesn't mean the game is no longer successful. And that's where people are like dead game. And I'm like, no, they're not dead games. There's still millions and hundreds of thousands of people playing these games.
Exactly.
And they're wildly successful. Destiny 2 is still a wildly successful game. I don't play it anymore. Mike doesn't play it anymore, but that doesn't mean it's not popular and people are not playing it. Fortnite, same thing. Doesn't mean it's not popular. WoW, same thing. Because even before Minecraft, it was MMOs. And
Correct.
every game was going to be an
Yeah.
MMO. Every IP needed to be an MMO. Warhammer, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, they all
Mhm.
needed to be MMOs. And then all of a sudden, but here we are, Low Chargers celebrated 15 years. And their average player base, I think, is anywhere from 300 to 600,000 players at any given time. And you say that number to people and they go, that's not a lot. I'm like, idiot. I'm like,
But
go
are
check
you
how many
comparing
people
it
are
to
playing.
Destiny?
Yeah, go check how many people are playing New World right now if you don't think that's a
Oh
lot.
God.
Well, and okay, that's a good point because that's something that we were just talking about this the other day. Like someone asked about New World and if I'd gone back and tried the new, the new dungeon and everything they added
Mhm.
recently. And I was like, nah, I ran its course. I played the shit. I mean, I played it longer than most. I mean, I played it pretty much till the wipe of Tarkov in December. So I played it from launch through December. And then I think since New Year's, I had 2 streams in like 15 hours or something, and that's it. That's all I played this year, right? And someone goes, yeah, that game kind of died fast. And I said, it didn't really die fast. I said the hype wore off because the big MMO guys, it wasn't the MMO they were looking for. Like they thought this was the next big MMO from Amazon and this and that. First of all, it was a very different MMO, right? And that was the number one right off the rip. Like this is not like a normal MMO. For someone like me who had never really played MMOs, I loved it. There was only 3 abilities. There wasn't like a whole fucking menu on the sidebar and at the bottom, like 15 different keys to hit. There was 3 abilities. You could easily swap between classes by just switching your weapon out. And honestly, the most satisfying piece of that was the gathering. Like fucking hitting trees and rocks was so satisfying in that game. Like still to this day, it has the best like think the sound effects and
The audio in that game's incredible.
yeah, the audio was amazing. But the PvP flopped. So you had a lot of guys that went into that game going, I want a PvP. And the wars were so laggy and so buggy. You were losing wars because of lag, which then you would lose your territory and be fucked for, and then you had the ones that was like, yeah, well, as soon as you lost the war, as soon as you went to war and you this big battle and you won, the next day you're at war again. Like someone declared war again, and you're like, well, shit. And then it was just, and so
they built the game around PvP too. So that is what the problem was the end game was that you were going to PvP and fight these wars. So once that was broken, you lose MMO players. They go back to what they were doing before. Because I remember playing, and like there was a point where our buddy Rob, he'll get interested in a game and then like he'll talk about it like it's the damn gospel. And I remember I had lost interest in New World at that point because I was like, there's no PvE. If you do PvE only, it is the most repetitive, it felt like a mobile game. That's what it felt like. I'm here doing chores, and that's not how I want to feel in my free time because I do chores all day. So I remember him saying like, well, there's potential here. And I was like, no, because you know what it is to me? It's just ESO, except it sucks. That was my philosophy. Like
it looked like a worse ESO. Like it looked like,
yeah,
if you're gonna play this game, you are better off playing ESO because
the way you just
it's
described it
better.
with the limited abilities and stuff, ESO. The way you go around, ESO has the best crafting of any MMO out there. No one has a better crafting system. It is just the best. And it's the only game that I am heavily invested in crafting too. Like when I play that game, I do all my crafting dailies. It's the only one. Wow, I'm like, I get to like level 30. I'm like, well, I should probably go back and pick some more of those herbs in that area that well, I'm too far gone. I'll go back when I'm 60. And then I never go back. So it's that was the problem with New World. They built the game around something, and then they were like, "Oh, well, we're going to do PvE stuff." And I'm like, "Well, all of your systems are built to support PvP, so that means you're going
Yeah,
to shoehorn PvE endgame into this because it's
yeah.
not working out the way you wanted, which means it's going to suck." So,
I mean,
Right.
first of all, it was an Amazon game, which I mean,
Their track record. Yeah.
their track record is horrendous to the point where they just it's an Amazon game. So that's the 1st thing. Second, there was no identity to the game. They continually changed what the game was going to focus on. And MMO PvP, I understand it's popular and I don't discredit that, but it is a niche population within the MMO community that is heavily invested in the PvP. And they're creating an entire game around this percentage of players that is not the majority of players in the MMO community. So, all right, and they started a shift to try to get more people in, and I don't know if you want to call it like a cultural divide, or I don't know how the best way to describe it, but as soon as Amazon announced this game, simultaneously Amazon being the owner of Twitch, as soon as it was a PvP title, I'm out. I'm out. I want fuck all to do with streamer ran servers PvP related. No fucking. How is that fun? You have monster streamers with monster fortresses, and there's no competition for that. You're just, why would I want to join a server and subject myself to that gameplay? It's just, there's no way. And then Amazon's going to monetize it through Twitch. It's just, to me, it was a big clusterfuck of conflict of interest that I was like, I'm out.